This dude is a legend. Straight up legend. Will be remembered forever. You will hear Inoue's name, man. Ain't nobody done it like him, man. Ain't nobody done it like him. I know some people might say Crawford and all of that shit, but man, this dude has fought world championship fights since he had 7 professional fights. Come on. 7 professional fights. God. He number 1 pound for pound in the game, period.
Fighter, as it was a good performance against, in my opinion, the number 1 pound for pound fighter. Now, firstly, Junto Nakatani definitely showed that he deserves to still be a big name on this boxing scene, as he put up a great performance against the number 1 pound for pound fighter, where I think it's going to be tough for a lot of guys to beat him in the upcoming years.
Did you see the Inoue Nakatani fight earlier today?
Oh man, yes I did. Inoue had me on pins and needles. Now I like Inoue. Surprisingly, my 2 favorite fighters in this era, for real, outside of my brother, because I gotta say my brother.
Yeah.
Fastest hands in boxing and etc. The creativity, all that is through the roof. But Monster and there we go. Monster and who's fighting? David Benavidez.
Yeah.
Whoever lost, if Inoue lost, he wasn't the number 1 fighter in the world anymore, and he wasn't even the number 1 fighter in Japan anymore, so yeah, huge reputational pride at stake for Inoue. But the question is, if they don't get the rematch now, or if they never do the rematch, what should they do next? Well, for Inoue, there's a part in age. I don't know if I see it happening.
Hey, look up this young fighter called the Monster. He's a Japanese, 118 pounds. He's better than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's dude like that. He's vicious. That's a badass guy he beat too. Broke him down. Ooh.
118?
Yeah.
Who the hell fights in that
bantamweights?
Yeah, but who?
Some bad motherfuckers. Yeah, some killers. He beat him so easy.
That performance proved one thing very clearly. In my opinion, he went toe-to-toe with the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in boxing and still delivered an incredible showing. First of all, Junto Nakatani showed everyone that he absolutely deserves to remain one of the biggest names in the sport today. He performed at a very high level against the best fighter in the world, and honestly, it's going to be extremely difficult for many fighters to beat him over the next few years. The skill, toughness, and composure he displayed inside the ring showed why he continues to be one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing right now.
2 undefeated fighters coming into an undisputed title fight. Inoue pretty much vanquished all challengers so far at the lower weight classes. He has shown time and time again over at now 28 wins that he is a devastator, right? Has big time punching power, but can also outbox guys with big time punching power, right? Showed that in a Nonito Donaire fight. So this was the biggest test for him. Nakatani, a bigger guy. I mean, I don't know about definitely a taller, longer fighter, rangier. Both guys dangerous, southpaw orthodox matchup, and the fight starts with epic entrances. And I know that everybody, before we even get into the fight, everybody talks about how Inoue should come to America and box. I would like to see him over here more, but why leave if you're gonna sell out 55,000 in Japan and have these awesome, entrances and these massive displays, and he's a star over there. So there's really no reason for him to come over here. Unless, again, they found a way to make the tank fight happen, which I don't think is ever going to happen. But, yeah, we got to appreciate it, even if it's not in the US, even if we got to wake up every once in a while and watch a fight at 7 a.m. or 11 p.m. or whatever, sometimes the greats are worth that, right? And in this case, I think Inoue is. He is must-see television.
Mike Tyson understands better than almost anyone what it means to intimidate opponents, but even he seems completely fascinated by a fighter competing in the super bantamweight division. Tyson doesn't simply admire Naoya Inoue. He sees parts of his own prime fighting style in him, almost like looking at a younger version of that same destructive mindset. This isn't a fighter who only cares about winning rounds or edging decisions on the judges' scorecards. The Japanese superstar fights with the intention of completely crushing an opponent mentally and physically. His brutal body punches and powerful combinations don't just hurt fighters for one night, they leave completely change careers. Every attack comes with bad intentions, and opponents can feel that pressure from the very first exchange.
That's what I say. And whoever's saying that, they got to get in the ring and do that against him. Obviously, everybody has a ceiling on how far they could go up. And he started out at 108, I look at his body structure. He don't look bigger than Pacquiao. Pacquiao's head was bigger. He was taller. His legs was bigger. So I don't know if Inoue could carry, much more weight. But, bro, that dude got fighting spirit. He don't get gun shy when he get hurt. See, I wish that people could just give... I'm not saying nothing about Shushu Carrington. Don't get me wrong, because he's a future opponent of Inoue, so he's supposed to look at him in a certain way. My statements is about just general statement. He's like, the boxing media is racist. I'm being honest with you. They just are. They say certain things about certain fighters and they never keep it objective. Inoue is a fantastic fighter. He's an offensive fighter, and offensive fighters get hit, especially when you walking into dudes that's naturally bigger than you and you dare to knock them out. He could fight the kind of fight where he just skate around the ring, score points, and not get touched, but that's not his mentality. I say the same thing about Boots, and people think I'm taking up for him because he's black and he's from Philly. When you are a killer like that, when you are a killer of that magnitude, they're like mass murderers. They're trying to hurt you. So they got the athleticism and the skills of, say, a Haney or a Shakur, but their mentalities is different. And you wire how you wire. In a way, if you watch him fight, right, the whole time he's mean-spirited. He's sticking you with punches. He's trying to hurt you, even though he's athletic and even though he's talented. So he gonna get hit. This is like, let's see, 108, 112, 115, 118. This is 5th weight class. Yeah, he gonna start getting hurt. But that shit don't make him gun shy. He don't act funny when he get hit.
Getting inside the ring with the monster creates a physical experience that many fighters simply aren't ready for. If you carefully listen to the ringside audio from his dominant win over Murodjon Akhmadaliev, the sound of his punches is honestly shocking. The impact coming from his gloves doesn't even seem human at times. Fans and professional fighters watching the fight were genuinely disturbed by the loud cracking noise heard every single time he landed clean. Many people compared it to the sound of someone smashing one of those heavy arcade punching machines with maximum force. Joe Rogan explained perfectly why Inoue is so dangerous. It's not only about his punching power. What makes him terrifying is the combination of explosive speed and timing. Elite-level fighters suddenly find themselves swinging at nothing while getting hit by punches they never saw coming. Before they can react, they're already taking clean shots from angles they didn't expect.
Neri dropped Inoue with a left. Neri dropped Inoue big. Oh! Inoue dropped it with a counter left. Now Neri's not hurt. That's Inoue adjusting to the left hook. Bam! Beautiful! Inoue pulled a Roy Jones and said, come on, and then threw the right, but just missed. Oh, good left hook. Oh! Inoue dropped him. Good right hand. Oh! Right hand again. Right hand again. Right hand again. Neri's still there. Right hand again. He's still there. Oh, good left. I told you. The left hurt him again. He won't see the left. Now he's hurt. Now he's hurt. It was the left. He won't see it. Bam. Good. Oh. Oh, shit. That's it. He knocked out. Neri's knocked out. He almost knocked his head over the rope.
For most fighters, getting dropped with a sudden knockdown is the moment where confidence starts to disappear. But for Inoue, it almost works like resetting a machine. When top fighters like Luis Neri or Ramon Cardenas managed to knock him down for a brief moment, his reaction was completely different from what people expected. There was no panic, no fear, and no desperation. He calmly took the count, locked his eyes onto his opponent, and immediately began analyzing what went wrong. Instead of rushing forward emotionally, he carefully studies the exact mistake that caused the knockdown. Then he adjusts in real time. Once he fixes that defensive opening, he comes back even more dangerous than before. What makes him scary is how quickly he turns a vulnerable moment into complete domination. He begins breaking down the opponent piece by piece until he eventually delivers a brutal highlight reel finish that leaves no doubt about who controls the fight.
It was a fight of two halves, wasn't it? The first half very, very cautious, particularly on the part of Junto Nakatani, who was patient but perhaps overly patient, as Inoue, like, both of them were doing a lot of reconnaissance. You know, there wasn't a lot of punching in the early rounds, but then when the fight ignited at the midway point, 6, 7, and then obviously Inoue really under the cosh, 8, 9, 10, in trouble, I thought, in the 10th round before the head clash. And then 11 was a huge round for Inoue. And yeah, I mean, it ended up being what we wanted, definitely in the second half. Some of the quality of some of the action was off the charts. It was brilliant to watch.
Yeah, because obviously this was a fight that the world of boxing had their eyes on, and obviously I think as like a purist, you can appreciate the first 6 rounds, but I guess do you see why some might find it a bit hard to watch the first 6 rounds when they were being so cautious and patient with each other?
Do you understand? No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, for the casual fan that doesn't really know a lot about the sport, the first 6 rounds would maybe be something of a turn off. I understand that, but what you need to expect realistically, this is 2 of the best fighters on the planet. They're not going to go out there and fight like they're outside a bar. If you make one mistake at that level against a fellow knockout artist, and you could end up flat on your back looking up at the lights, humiliated on an early round stoppage loss. So they bided their time. I just felt that Junto was perhaps guilty of being overly cautious. Inoue, because of his championship pedigree, he's been a champion for 12 years, knows how to nick rounds. He knows how to win rounds. And the early rounds are every bit as important as the later rounds, and that ultimately proved.
The most frightening thing about facing this man is not only the punching power, it's the incredibly high boxing IQ he brings into every fight, and that was fully displayed during his recent masterclass battle with Junto Nakatani. Nakatani's experienced training camp even admitted something shocking before the fight. They were genuinely afraid to reveal too much of their offense early because Inoue adapts far too quickly. If an opponent shows him a clear pattern in the first round, he can study it and use it against them by round 3. His understanding of rhythm and timing is on another level. He constantly disrupts opponents using sharp pendulum footwork and a guard that keeps changing throughout the fight. That movement completely destroys an opponent's sense of timing and comfort. He also refuses to participate in predictable lead-hand exchanges. Instead, he uses perfect distance control to completely shut down fighters who have major height and reach advantages, making those advantages look completely useless once the fight begins.